and welcome to today's feature, which I've brought you to Bonehill, and it's a live match. So today's meant to be the hottest day of the year, so my approach really, I've just kept it really simple. What I've learned over the years is on these days the fish do go moody, so you need to keep things dead simple. We've got 5 minutes before the all-in, so I'm just going to talk about what I'm going to do, or my plan for the match. Obviously, if I need to change, I'm going to change. I'm not just going to sit on something if it's not working. So first of all, I've set up 2 method feeder rods just to cover 4 different distances if I need to. From experience on this lake, the fish won't come onto certain lines, so throughout the day you need to find out which line they're comfortable on, or which depth, and you need to find it as quick as possible. So I've set 2 rods up, an 11 foot to search out to 70 yards, and then the 10 foot to search from like 30 yards out to 45. So they're both Diver tournament rods paired up with 4,000 reels, and on the 11 foot rod I've got Suffolk's Advanced 018 mainline, which is 8 pound breaking strain. So on the market really there's no line that can rival it for strength to diameter. And then for the shorter line I've got Suffolk's Advanced 020, which is 10 pound. So really low diameter lines, which is going to make casting in this wind effortless. And then I've set up a little mugging rig from Down. We've got a ripple on at the moment, but if the ripple does drop, I need this set up because there might be some cruisers, so that might be an easy way to nick an odd fish. And then all I've set up is 2 margin rigs to fish the same line down to my left at about 9 metres. These are just a power edge float from Down 0.4. And that's about it really. The main line for them rigs is 019 Preston power line down to 017 bottom with an XSH hook. Bait for today, I've got some pellets and more pellets really. Yeah, we've got 8mm fishery owned pellets, and these will be to fire out onto that shorter method line. I've got some micros made up for the method, and then to fish on the method I've just got some durable hookers from Dynamite. These are the marine halibuts, but I have got some green swim stim as well in 6mm, and if I start catching a few skimmers or the carp fishing's hard, I can put a 4mm on, which work really well here for skimmers. That's it basically. Keep things dead simple. Fish a method, fish a pole down the edge, and maybe mug a few. But yeah, so we've got 2 minutes to the all-in, so I'm going to get some hooks on my method ready to cast in. Okay, so we're 15 minutes in now. And this is my second carp. I had one after 5 minutes, and then we weren't a big fish, about 4 pound. Then the bottom started fizzing. I started at 45 yards. The bottom started fizzing instantly. I've got a couple of liners. What I've been doing, I've just been pinging a few 8mm at 35 yards. And I've got a few liners. That tells me straight away that the carp are coming into them 8mm. So what I can either do, I had 2 choices. I could just drop short onto where I'm feeding them 8mm, or I can put a bomb on and try and catch them on a bomb. So I've just dropped short on the method, and it's gone round after 3 minutes. So I'm not having to wait long for bites. If the fish are happy there, then they're just grabbing straight hold of it. I'm going to take my time with him. Every fish at this place will definitely count. So if you lose one fish, I guarantee it'll cost you in some way or another. It's a nice fish. And he's in the net. The amount of times I've lost a fish at this place, just a small fish, £1, £2, and the amount of times I've lost by, I've come second, should I say, by just a couple of ounces is unreal. So a carp of about £6. So that puts me on £10 after 15 minutes. So I'm in a good place. If I can catch £30 an hour, then that'll be very good today anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick on that line for a moment where I'm feeding them 8 mils. What I think will be the case is once I catch a couple off it, that they'll back off. I didn't really want to go over them 8 mils for a couple of hours, because here, if you can feed them, get them really confident, you can clatter them if you leave it a while. But I just wanted to have a look over it. I've caught one straight away, so I'm just going to try and nick a couple off it, and then I'll probably come off it. I'm just going to cast that in, sink the line, and then maybe put six pellets over the top. Just feed 3 and then another 3. What I think that does is the initial 3 pellets landing on the top will attract a few carp, just the sound of it, and then the next 3 will drag them down to the bottom, hopefully. So just feed 3 for that noise to attract them. Just give it 5 or 10 seconds, and then feed another 3, and them 3, hopefully, if the first 3 attracted some carp, them other 3 will drag them down. If you constantly feed over the top, what that's going to do is just going to, any fish that are there, it's just going to bring them up to the top. Now I've cast down, I've fed my peg. While I'm waiting for a bite, all I'm going to do is just re-prep my method feeder, and that's another fish on. What was that? 40 seconds. It's just about getting into a rhythm. Doesn't feel like a massive fish, but it's a fish. Yes, another little small carp. Just going to take my time with him. Just, like I said, just make sure everything counts. What I have learned, I used to like snatch at fish, so when I see them by the top, really try and get them in the net quick. But what I've learned is you do get more fish in the net. Just take your time, wait for them to come up for that gasp of air. As soon as they've took that gasp of air, you've won the fight, really. nice soft rod's important as well. Look at he's scrapping. There we go, he's in the net. So that's another £2 that someone's got to catch to try and beat me. Okay, so we're just about to go into the second hour now, and I've got £21, so not quite what I wanted. I wanted £30 really. I think you're going to need £30 an hour to win the match today. No, but I stuck on that shorter line, and I had a couple of fish off it, but then it went a bit quiet. Caught a couple of skimmers, so I've just took my clip off and I've just gone back onto that line at 45 yards, and I've had one first chuck. I need to stand up here. Don't feel like a massive fish again. To be honest, I think them bigger fish are all cruising about, but I've got a wind on in front of me, as you can see, and I can't see them. Yeah, over there, Jamie Hughes is on a peg on the dam wall, and there's no wind on it. And they're mugging carp, so they obviously, them carp are sitting high up in the water. I could fish a pellet waggler, but the carp have wised up to it. Here, don't seem to catch loads on it. There must be some oxygen in the water today, because the fish don't know when to give up. They're fighting quite hard. Well, as I said earlier, you definitely don't want to lose any today, because it's not fishing. It's not fishing brilliance. So every fish is definitely going to count. Bit bigger than I thought, actually, that one. I'm on that longer line now. I had that carp first first drop. And then I've had 2 skimmers. To be honest, a lot of people would just try everything they can to avoid catching these. But when they're just under £2 a pop, I think you're best off just catching them. Catch them whilst they're there, and then them carp, if them carp do move in, they'll move them out the way anyway. What you need to be careful of here though, is that the skimmers don't destroy the bottom too much, because what they do, they really get in the silt and smash the bottom up, and the carp just don't like to come into it. You will catch very odd ones, but not one a chuck when the bottom's smashed up, and then skimmers get even harder to catch as well. So that's what you need to be careful of. That's why I'm not using a massive method feeder. I'm only using a really small Preston ICS method feeder. And another important point, the method's only 20 grams, which might seem a bit light, but that's the whole purpose. Because the bottom's quite silty here, you want to use a method feeder what's going to be as light as possible, because the bottom's so silty. When the method drops down, you want it to sit on top of the silt, not go under. And anything over 30 grams, you will definitely struggle, because the fish will need to smash the bottom up just to get at your feeder. That's the 3 hour mark there, and it's really not happening, to be honest. It's just so hot. And what I'm doing now, I am forcing the peg, so I'm having like 2-minute casts, and it's going to do 2 things really, or one of the 2. It's either going to ruin the peg totally to the point where you just can't get a bite, or it's going to come alive. But what I'm going to do in the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to start thinking about feeding that margin, because that could get us out of jail today. But at the moment, now I've started forcing this line, casting every 2 or 3 minutes, I've had 2 fish, so, and they seem like quite quick bites. So what I think's happening is the carp, the noise is attracting the carp, and if you just sit there waiting, nothing seems to happen. So I think I'm going to have to just force the peg and just hope that the fish don't mind, and they're obliged to keep eating my hook bait. And keep popping it down this one hole. Just at 35 yards. Hopefully comes alive. I've stopped feeding them 8mm, because I think all it's going to do is bring the fish up in the water. Maybe I should have set a waggler up. But hey, every time I seem to set a waggler up, it doesn't really work. Even if the fish are there, they seem to just back off it. Catch the odd one, but that's a skimmer. Tell you what, the skimmers are having a feed today. Probably could have caught 8 or 90 a pound of these on a pole today, but you ain't going to win the match with them. That's the problem. The good as backup weight, like to go with your carp, but just catching skimmers on their own, not really gonna win the match. Okay, eventually we've hooked one down the edge. It's took us long enough, but I kind of committed to fishing the edge. We've lost my way a bit, to be honest, but we got one in the end. And now we've got one. Probably find you do get more. What I have started doing is just chucking a few pellets just on a top kit down my edge, because what that's going to do is just give me time to rest that longer margin line. That's if I need to anyway. We got him. And they're better fish. You can catch them up to £25 in the edge. At this price anyway. They are great big things. This is probably the most frustrating day I've ever had at Bonehill. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm going to blame the weather, but I really don't know. These are the worst kinds of matches where you come away not knowing what you could have done different. So I've fished them method lines. I fished down the edge. Because of the wind, I couldn't mug any, and I couldn't fish shallow. The wind has been quite strong, to be honest. If I'm going to do something, I'd rather do it properly rather than walk away thinking, oh, well, that was absolutely rubbish, and knackered afterwards because you're fighting with a pole. So yeah, I couldn't really do that. I don't really know what else I'd do different. Maybe I could have fished a waggler, but it always seems the same story when you fish a waggler. Yeah? The fish are backing off it, you don't catch properly on it. So yeah, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think the ends of the lake, like I said earlier during the match, I think they'll be hard to beat. So yeah, I'll wait for everyone to weigh in, and then we'll catch up with you on the back of the car. $25. 51.10. Okay, and that's everyone weighed in, and I had £76 10 ounce, I think it was, and exactly what I thought would happen has happened. So up the end, where there's been no wind, it's just mugged fish. So he's had £160 of just mug carp, so no feeding fish. he's caught all fish that are on the top. I knew that would be the case because I could see where Jamie was coaching up that end of the lake, and there's no wind on it, and they've just mugged fish all day. Whereas where we've been, where it's windy, you've seen there's been a ripple on the lake all day. You just couldn't see any mugfish. So we was just trying to fish for feeding fish. What it turned out to be, majority skimmers, to be honest. If all of our bites today was carp, you'd have a massive weight. But the big thing that's really let me down today is these edge fish. I don't know. I need to come up here and really work out how to catch them, because one of the fish is just, I could see them, and I put my rig down there, and the fish was swimming around. It was probably about 16 or 17 pound, a big common, and it stopped dead, and then looked at my rig, and I could see it just looking where my bait was, and then it's just swum off out the peg. So they are real wise fish, they are. So yeah, anyway, that's fishing. I've really enjoyed my day. It's better than a day at work, and yeah, hopefully see you next time.